Welcome to Vlore, Albania. We're on the third stop of my rental car Albania road trip going to the south. We've come to the city of Vlore, which is on the Adriatic Sea, and the place we're staying, the water comes into this cove area, and it's really nice. The waters are very calm. You can see where the cove So this is really at the beginning of the beach area with the sand and where people are hanging out underneath the umbrellas. And from here it goes down to basically a pier or to a jetty. Temperature's pretty warm. It's a really neat town. It's very much touristy. It's very active. You can see that the beach itself is separated by a road and then a park, so there's nothing in between there and any buildings or anything between there and the beach. And so in the road in the middle going down, there's rows of palm trees all the way down. It's really neat. And then right along the beach itself, which is by kind of contrast, it's got rows and rows of pine trees. So in some ways this reminds me of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you do have a mixture of both the palm trees and the pine trees, the touristy areas, the strip where everybody kind of walks along. It's very crowded here, just like it would be at, say, Myrtle Beach or a Daytona Beach back in the United States. But it's got its own really kind of neat vibe. And I've been to probably, I guess this is my 10th city in Albania since I've been here, and I really like this place for hanging out, especially for a weekend trip or a vacation. I'm not so sure it would be a great place to get some work done unless you could find a longer term stay with really good internet. The hotel we're staying at, the internet's like 20 MPS, so that's down. I don't know what it was up, but it was plenty to get some light work and stuff done. Really on vacation this weekend. This is just a trip more for fun before we leave Albania. Although it's funny, as soon as I go away for a few days to a week to take some time off is when all of my clients suddenly need their hands held. They don't need it for a month at a time, and they've all been contacting me, and I'm like, you're gonna have to wait till Monday till I get back into the city. So we got here in the evening last night, about 7:30, just in time to see the sunset out over the ocean. It sets right out where the bay goes out to the Adriatic Sea, and it was just a beautiful clear day. Wonderful sunset, beautiful colors. I tried to get some video of it. I'll put it in here if I can, but I'm not sure how well the GoPro picked it up because of the low light conditions. But all throughout the strip, as I want to call it, the main drag in front of the beaches and the hotels and the bars and the clubs, it was like busy all night with tons of people. Lots of young couples that were going, families with their kids. And it was just busy. Here in the middle of summer, it's July right now, but it's a weekday. So yesterday was a Tuesday, and it was just crowded. And we went upstairs to our room probably about 11 o'clock at night after we finished dinner, and it was still so crowded on the streets, which was much different than where we've been living in Toronto. So I don't know if there's a curfew here or not. If there is, nobody seemed to be observing it yesterday. You wouldn't know that there was any sort of worldwide pandemic or anything going on here in Vlore, Albania. This is also a neat town. Historically, it has been very important to Albania, in both good ways and bad ways. It's back in the late 90s, when Albania was kind of going on the verge of almost a civil war, I guess, or some, against the administration that had taken over. There'd been a lot of pyramid schemes. People got mad. The center of really going against that came out of Vlore. It also was back at the beginning of the 20th century, was really one of the hotbeds in Albania for where they wanted to get their independence from the Ottoman Empire. And I can't remember, it was about 1910, 1912 or so, that they had meetings in secret here in Vlore and planned to go get their independence, which they did, from the Ottoman Empire, and got their independence and were finally a nation of Albania. This park that you go through the Vlore, there's plenty of like seats and things to sit out on, overlook the sea. It's a really nice place. Show you going back looking at the park. And we're right off of the pier. And there's boats you can rent here to take you out to different places. On the other side of that mountain, on the other side of the bay that I just showed you, there's actually caves that the boats can go up to. It's pretty reasonable rates on there, and we may do that if we've got time. We're only going to be here for probably 2 nights, 3 days at this point before we need to move on to see the rest of the stuff we're going to see in southern Albania before we leave. But so one last thing historically, I guess this is more of a sad part about Vlore, was it was also one of the places that I was told that the Hoxha regime recruited their secret police back in the communist era to spy on Albanians, to arrest them, make them disappear. So that's kind of the sadder part of the history of this town. But looking at it now, you'd never know that existed. I mean, it's a great resort town. It's very affordable. The hotel that we got, it's a mid-range hotel. It's literally right across from the beach. There's no, the views from there, there's nothing in between there but the park and the ocean. And the beach is right across from it. It's on the main strip. And it was, I think I paid 45 euros a night, so basically $90 for 2 nights, 90 euros for 2 nights, and then that'd be about 105, 106 US dollars for 2 nights. So you're not really going to get a place that nice right off of the beach in the United States for that kind of money. So I like it. That may end up being an expensive hotel by Albanian standards. I don't know. I doubt it. I'd say they're much more luxurious places than where I'm at. But anyway, so at this point, I'm going to go eat some lunch. Maybe try to find some mussels and seafood, because I've kind of been craving that. We're at the beach. Hopefully I can find it. And after we get done with that, I'll show you the rest of the town. So it's lunchtime in Vlore, and I've got a wonderful view from where I'm going to eat. I'll give you a little taste of that. Here we go. Not a bad place to have my lunch. Got me a little espresso they have here and all their coffee shops, as well as a cappuccino while I wait on the food, which I'll show you when he gets here. But I'll show you what the little coffees they have here in all the coffee shops all across Albania are. So that, if you can still hear me, is the little bitty espressos and a cappuccino. So the espressos they have, and that seems to be the most common one that everybody likes here, those cost 50 lek, so a little bit less than 50 cents in the US. And then the cappuccinos are, that was exactly 100 lek, which is a little less than $1 US dollars. So In the US, I think I pay, usually I get lattes instead of cappuccinos, but I think a cappuccino would be $2, maybe $3 in the US. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy these while I wait for my lunch. I'll show you what I got, and then we'll continue our tour of Vlore. Very strong, very bitter. Oh, and one last thing before we get to that. This place is really touristy. So as a YouTuber or trying to do a YouTube video, one of your challenges is when you're sitting around or you're doing videos is everybody wants to drive their car by with their windows playing commercial music, which will get your video banned. So find that out the hard way when you get your first strike, because somebody's playing some commercial music in the background and you're kind of even oblivious to it. Okay, wait for the lunch and I'll leave you off with the view. All right, so my seaside lunch is here. I'll show it to you. I got seafood and rice, which is mussels and shrimps. I got what's called tava, which is it's a local casserole dish. It's made with liver. It's really delicious, and you serve it with bread. I really don't know what all the ingredients are, but I've fallen in love with it. It's probably my favorite thing in Albania, as far as traditional Albania food. So here's the seafood and the rice. That cost 600 lek, so about $6 US. There's the tava and some breads. If you see the consistency of this, it's got the liver meat in it. So good. So the tava was 500 lek. The bread was free, came with it, but the tava is about $5 US. So this whole meal is costing, and again, I'm eating, this is going to be shared between 3 people. This is going to be less than $15 US dollars for the entire meal, with a view of the beach now being blocked by a car. Not a bad deal. What would it cost in the US? What would it cost in a Western country? A lot more. That was a really good lunch. I'm so stuffed. Then I thought I would go wander around Vlore, see what else there is to see. Because I don't know, I haven't been to this town yet. But already, just walking away from the restaurant and down the pier here, there's like an amusement park. Looks like they got bumper cars and rides for kids. It's not busy right now. In fact, Vlore's not busy right now. It was so crowded last night, and I expect that it will be that way again tonight. But you can see there's very few people, other than if you go down to the beach. Of course, it's packed right now, but this area, which was very crowded last night, is just empty. So, sitting here with my new friend. I think I'll walk the city, see what else there is to see. Who knows? Maybe I'll even find some bunkers somewhere. Right here behind me, though, there's these fishermen. They're out there fishing with nets on these little bitty, basically 2-man boats. Walk over, see if I can get some footage of it. So I don't know if they bring them in and sell them to these hotels, these little restaurants here. The hotels do advertise that they have fresh catch based on whatever it is that the fishermen bring in for the day. There's 2 or 3 of them that are out here in the bay in their boats. The one guy's swimming, he put his nets out and he's like swimming back to his boat now on there. So interesting stuff. So let me go find something interesting to show you, or maybe I won't. We'll see. other thing I find really neat about Vlore is you have the main walking place on one side of the street in front of all the bars and the restaurants and the hotels, another one out in front of the ocean, and then in the center, right off of the road, but in between there and the walkways, you have what are called, I guess, bikeways. It is for people to ride bicycles in, motorcycles, and not be out in the middle of the road, but also not be in on the sidewalk running people over. You can see one of them here. So, just something neat. They have these bikeways in Tirana as well, and probably other cities throughout Albania. It's just the way this one's laid out, right off of this like line of palm trees that goes all the way down, that really kind of is neat, makes it kind of picturesque. Come across these really interesting trees. I have no idea what they are, but this one here has like a giant knot on it. I don't know, I find it interesting. I'll show it to you. I don't know what the tree is. It's like, I mean, the bark sheds off like a beech bark tree back home. It has this giant knot on the side of it. Kind of neat. Like I say, I have no idea what kind of tree it is or what that is. Here's a bunch more of them, but I find it interesting. All of the beaches in front of these hotels, these restaurants, have just tons of umbrellas with little lounge chairs underneath them. Talked to the guy across the street, and you can rent one out for the day for 300 lek. It's basically $3 US, but you'll see it lines the entirety of the beach, just tons of people with them. Well, I have finally located what I was hunting for in Vlore. I went to a coffee shop right up the road. Can't ever show you the coffee shops because YouTube will like ban me or copyright strike me or something because they're always playing music. But I finally found what I was looking for. Bunkers. These have been painted and arted up, but they're in a little park. So, 3 bunkers for little kids to play on. It used to be, I don't know if they've been relocated here or they were here the whole time, but used to be preparing for some sort of invasion. Overall, it's been a really great day, in 2 days I guess now, in Vlore. I went downtown, walked all the way down there. It's a very walkable city. I'd like to come back and spend a lot more time, but I definitely recommend, if you get a chance to come here, to do so. So, I think that ends my day in Vlore. Time to go get dinner and get ready for the morning.